Good evening. Greetings from the Institute of Global Professional IGP Bangladesh. Greetings from the Institute of Global Professional IGP Bangladesh. Thank you all for joining us and staying with us tonight. Honorable knowledge seeker, today I am your host for the evening. My name is Badun Dash. I am from Bangladesh. Dear knowledge seeker, I am proud to be associated with IGP as a global member. IGP is a social and ISO certified international training institute. In 3 years, we already served 3 million plus knowledge seekers from 100 plus countries. IGP is internationally recognized and global accredited. We are connected to more than 250 plus professions and 4,500 plus organizations. Institute of Global Professional IGP is a training faculty for skill development which was founded in 2020 and is generating competent candidates to meet demand in the global labor market by providing professional qualifications. The Institute of Global Professional is an educational institute that provides social work globally recognized and reputable, with self-trained and community resource providing holistic social work and education. We believe that it is not effective to increase one skill just by acquiring formal education. So we provide effective training and consultation to generate professional generation all over the world. We distribute our services locally, nationally, and internationally to students, job seekers, job holders, and also for learners, the respective campus location and distance learning platform. We are an occupational and dependable institute. IGP is one of the famous online institutes from all over the world. Our vision is education is not a business product, it's a part of our human rights. Based on our vision, we are trying to reach all corners of the world for free webinars, seminar courses, our quiz competition, mentoring, and counseling, etc. On the other side, we are also trying to offer more than 100 premium services for free live create own portfolio website, resume builder, Kowal, and watch Janala Switch trainer, speaker, and coaches. Our sessions are conducted by globally renowned professionals to develop all kinds of youth to promote the education of their abilities and personalities. To ensure excellent and in-depth instruction, we arrange with qualified trainer, speaker, and instructor. We extended free services to more than 3 million knowledge seekers in last 3 years. We have affiliation with universities and organizations in 70 different countries. Virtual mock signing with many colleges and organizations have been accomplished. We are working to create a legendary generation of future scholars and citizens who will be accountable. We are constantly prepared to assist all knowledge seekers with valuable service. Spreading knowledge is crucial for the Institute of Global Professionals. We believe that knowledge is love and light and vision. So we try to understand the needs of today's generation and we serve them with good research and practice methods. We must have a genuine concern for the learner we represent. More diversity, growth, and innovation are required to lead a session with professionalism, passion, and integrity. IGP members are committed to offering effective, best quality service and continuous improvement so that individuals who seek information can improve their skill level and value. Before we move to the next, let me remind don't forget to share, tag, and mention your friend in the comment box. Your support is very valuable for us. Thank you. Before we move to the next, let me remind don't forget to share, tag, and mention your friend in the comment box. Your support is very valuable for us. Thank you. Moving to the next, with your continuous support, you already completed 1,415 webinars successfully. Wow. Moving to the next, with your continuous support, you already completed 1,415 webinars successfully. Wow. At present, we are going to start our 1,416 webinar, which name is Discovering the Secrets of Authentic Leadership. And today our speaker ma'am name is Rania Lampau. She is from Greece. Before I hand over the stage to our speaker ma'am, I wants to share a very little bit about her Ministry of Education and Realization Affairs Greece, Global Educationist, author, speaker, researcher, Global Peace Ambassador, IGP Director Greece. Now, very important moment for me to invite our speaker to IGP with her presentation. Now, very important moment for me to invite our speaker to IGP with her presentation. Hello, ma'am. Good evening. Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. I would like to thank you for a kind invitation. Warm greetings from Greece. And of course, congratulate Institute of Global Professionals, IGP, for this wonderful work that all the team is doing in order to promote quality education.
Ma'am, please present your presentation.
Yes. Is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am. Your presentation is visible. Ma'am, you can start now.
Okay. So today we want to explore the concept of authentic leadership and why, because our world today possesses unprecedented opportunities and capabilities to promote global human welfare and well-being. But it is an urgent need of leadership to tap the opportunities and address the multidimensional challenges that our humanity confronts today. So the world is obviously in need of leadership at this critical juncture. And although leadership is, we could say that it's not limited anymore to individuals, it's because it has most commonly taken the form of great personalities in the past. This is not the case now. So leadership is a way of acting. It is a living social process that encompasses the whole society in which and on which it acts. So leadership remains one of the most controversial concepts because it is not based on a clear consensus definition of the concept. It's, generally speaking, we could say that it's the process by which a person influences others, they can influence others, they can motivate them and guide them in order to help them achieve their personal goals and their objectives. So it is the impact process of all activities and actions of an organization towards achieving the vision and mission of an organization. And of course, this has many facets: the ability to inspire and encourage others to overcome challenges, the capacity to build strong, effective teams, and it is the process of using an influence to persuade and guide. Very well-known question: leaders are made rather than born. And while we could say that the real desire to lead it is, of course, a prerequisite for leadership, the key skills that you need to lead can be learned. So leaders are those who set a strong example through their own life principles. They achieve results, but also take responsibility for failure. So a life principle may be a rule, of course, a belief that would be a moral code that is important for us and guides our decision making throughout life. So leaders are not born leaders. They can also be shaped through coaching and mentoring. And as I said in the beginning, leadership does not concern only great personalities. It concerns every individual. So leadership today, we could say that is linked to the concept of change. The concept of change and transformation organization. So according to the latest approaches, leadership is considered as a collective phenomenon. That means we usually don't have one leader, which is, we could have as a leader whole community. So here we talk about common goals and achieving common goals. So from all these definitions, we can highlight three main dimensions of leadership: influence, process, values, and vision. And of course, leadership is considered as a multi-level and multi-dimensional concept because it is practiced by different people who hold different positions at various levels. That means that a leader, for instance, in the school, we talk about school, could be a teacher, could be not only a principal, could be also a parent or a student. So some do's when we want to be a leader, of course, we have to learn quickly what motivates team members, to ask your team for the view and situation, to think beyond what happens in short term, to know how to train and develop your team and set standards to build a team that you can rely on. And what you don't need to do, that usually it's not good to be out of touch with your own emotions, not asking for feedback about your ideas or your actions, not noticing what is going on around you, and of course, remember that thinking yesterday's result will still count tomorrow. There is often confusion regarding the terms of leadership, management, and administration. So management, because there's a difference between leadership and management. Management is associated with a daily management organization and many other activities that usually have a narrow scope, have a term up to 2 years. So leadership includes these terms, but is also related with orientation of activities which have a long-term basis. So when we talk about leadership, we talk about always vision. There are other researchers that distinguish administration management from leadership. Management administration are more close because they're considered as the administrative management procedures that preserve the stability of organizations. This includes planning, organization, coordination, accountability. Management, so is a technical term, and we said before, but when we talk about management administration, it's always about short-term goals, narrow-oriented approach, and hierarchical approaches. On the other hand, leadership has to do with vision, and it has a more moral, professional, and democratic dimension. So management is a concept which is difficult term to define because it has a variety of applications and interpretations. Sometimes it is used to describe the activities of executives or administrators, organization. So this management involves the creation of an environment in which people can most effectively use other resources to reach stated goals. So it involves the implementation of 4 basic functions: planning, organization, leading, and controlling. These functions play a role, promote a role in the operation organization. Planning, it's easy to understand. It can be specialized based on organizational goals, division goals. Organizing is how managers distributing resources and organizing workforce according to the plan. Leading is connecting with employees, and it can be simple. It can be when we talk about communication, a task or motivate or inspire or encourage them towards a higher level. And control is the final function of management, because when we have the plan already and the plan is being implemented, the manager could evaluate the results. Leadership has a substantially different role from management because leadership is leader is someone who makes decisions, someone who communicates bold messages. On the other hand, manager is someone who executes, someone who implements strategies, someone who measures performances. Of course, sound management requires some leadership, and great leaders are good managers usually. So when you enter in this leadership role, you can't ignore managing, because this should go along. To be credible as a leader, you need to acknowledge what is happening, and at the same time, you need to know the past, you need to know what's happening at present, and at the same time, to be focused on the future. Educational management, this is talk image educator, so I'm interested in this perspective. When we talk about educational management, it's one of the most important jobs of the teacher, how to manage a classroom effectively, or the principal, how to manage a school. So this has to do with operation of education organizations, and it has proved to be that the classroom management has the largest effect on student achievement. So leaders are those whom everyone wants to follow, and one secret of leadership is that the mind of a leader never turns off. That means that leaders are always active, they're never passive observers. They have their own point of view, and they're strategic thinkers, and they always try to find the problem, to solve it, to find the solution of a problem. So they're always involved actively. They always show their ability to help and develop at the same time their personal skills. When we talk about leadership, this includes these components. Of course, the individuals who are the leaders of the organization, the activity of leading a group of people, the clear vision, sharing this vision so that others can follow you, how to provide information and methods and knowledge to realize this vision, and how to coordinate and balance the conflicting interests of all members and stakeholders. There are some conceptualizations interesting of leadership. Here we can see the person-based leadership. What is this? This describes actually the traditional view of a leader in which followers are attracted to the leader because of his personal characteristics, traits, or behaviors. So it is largely informed by what we call leader-centric approach. Secondly, we have position-based leadership. This implies a formal and mostly hierarchical structure in which the leader is one of the top, he's the one with the most power and the most responsibility. Results-based leadership, when the focus seems to be on the leader's achievements rather than the characteristics they possess. So this approach emphasizes the connection between the leader's attributes and the results achieved by the organization. Purpose-based leadership focuses on purpose as the primary differentiators of leadership. So results are less important than purpose on the scale of defining leadership. And this approach gives a special, we could say, prominence to the ethics of leadership. So this approach indicates that understanding leadership, leadership development, for instance, for peace building, if we talk about this, will involve understanding the ethics and goals of the actors involved. Process-based leadership is the approach that defines leadership as a relational concept, not a positional, possessional one. So in this approach, it is argued that given the complexities of our modern world, the traditional hierarchical views of leadership are less satisfying. Leadership theory, therefore, should allow for other perspectives that can account for the complex adaptive needs of organizations. So leadership here is perceived as a relational process in which leaders in senior positions of organizations and social movements work for a specific purpose of building peace, for instance, talk about peace, through an area of activities that are not violent. And what are the components of leadership development? In leadership development, when we talk about leadership development, leading for a common goal with the complexity of the context involved requires a stronger ability to cope with swift changes and proactive and continuous creation of novel and innovative learning and development that goes beyond the acquired experience and prior knowledge. Dealing with complex sociopolitical systems, for instance, and emergent processes that do not follow what we call clockwork science demands new processes of leader development. So leadership situation is the context and social interaction which is central to this framework because it serves both as a catalyst for continuous learning opportunities and as a filter that shapes the process of situational and social learning. When we talk about leadership experiences, this concerns the variety and qualitative difference of experience of leading drawn from situations which enables greater development to occur. Knowledge of leadership, this knowledge, of course, which is driven from engagement in the situation and participation in leading, the active engagement in leadership roles and associated activities create opportunities for experiences of leading. And when we talk about leadership development and learning, this how this can happen, learning by doing, learning through collaboration, learning through networks, participating in networks and tackling challenges, learning through formal programs and activities, because participating in formal learning activities is something that it's very important in various stages of careers. The formal programs participants take place very, usually very considerable. That could be mastering management or human rights or community development to professional leadership programs. This is also very important for the career. Leading from reading and writing books and the emotional aspects and well-being. The emotional impact of leading in difficult contexts, it seems very prominent in leadership development. We talk about before educational management, and today we know more about teaching than ever before. For instance, research has shown us that teachers' actions in the classroom have both the impact to student achievement, and we also know that classroom management has the largest effect on student achievement, as I said before. So we need teachers, educators, or principals who could be leaders, because a leader is someone who steps up in time of crisis, is able to think and act creatively in difficult situations. And unlike management, leadership, as I said before, is something that is it is taught and enhanced through coaching and mentoring. So what are some characteristics of leadership? It's said that includes vision, goals, values, and culture. Leadership skills need to be highly influential, both externally and internally. We said that they know what is happening in what happened in the past, what happens at present, and they are looking always at the future. So people respect leaders who embrace strong values and they take responsibility for their own choices in life. So demonstrate the internal strength that you need to be seen to leading by example. As I said before, that leaders set the example by their own moral principles, by their own way of living. A very important part is self-awareness, knowing yourself. People don't all think in the same way. Understanding your own thinking style and the styles of others can give you more valuable leadership roles. And when we talk about thinking style, it does not refer to IQ, but how you process information. Self-awareness is something very important because you need to lead from the inside out. What you really think and what you value as your life principles, this should be clear to others. Before communicating with others, you need to look at yourself and look to acquire self-awareness. It's very, very important. Leadership styles, I think more or less we all know about the second Daniel Goleman, who is the one who popularized the concept of emotional intelligence, this ability to understand, use, and manage your own emotions in order to communicate effectively, to overcome challenges and conflicts. So Daniel Goleman developed the idea of the importance of emotions in management. And here are some important styles that you can see. And what are the characteristics? Those who have the most negative impact, first of all, the coercive, you can see someone who says in organization, do what I tell you. So this obviously, we talk about someone who demands that people comply, has negative impact. Another profile, another leadership style that has negative impact is what we call pace setting. It's someone who says, do as I do. So someone who sets high performance standards, and it always have a negative impact. On the other hand, we have some positive leadership styles, such as coaching, is someone who says, try this. So it's something which helps to develop skills in other people. Or someone who's democratic. What do you think about this? It's someone who tries to collaborate, to develop the team spirit. But affiliative is another leadership style. There are those who say people come first. So this kind of leader is someone who tries to create harmony, to build a good relationship and empathy and communication skills. But the leadership style with the most positive impact, according to research, is what we call authoritative. Because it's someone who says, come with me. So it's someone who leads with a clear vision, self-confidence, and empathy. Other leadership approaches is that very, very important to mention is, first of all, we talk about transformational leadership. If we talk about school, for instance, of education, transformational leaders empower their school teams to have a say in decision-making processes and enable collective goal setting. So through role modeling, these leaders create a culture of innovation and improvement and a shared sense of purpose. And this sets the foundations for growth and success. Transformational leaders are able to influence school outcomes by outlining high performance expectations, developing people through individual support, building productive relationship, and providing instructional support. The four attributes of transformational leadership are defined as idealized influence, inspirational motivation, intellectual stimulation, individualized consideration. So transformational leaders are those who instill trust, admiration, loyalty, and respect, which inspire teachers' motivation, moral, and performance. So these usually transformer leaders are they use the charisma, as we said, their compassion and their talent. They're able to monitor and manage not only their own emotions but those of others as well, and this gives them the ability to energize their teams and drive successes. Studies have shown that transformational leadership has a direct impact on teachers' performance, and also that this increases teacher job satisfaction, strengthens their commitment to professional growth. The result is improved student outcome and lasting progress across the school system. The second style is what we call constructive leadership. This type of leadership is about facilitating the learning process rather than directing it. So at the core of this approach is that learners control their own learning, not teachers, acknowledging that every learner understands processes and gives meaning to lessons with their own reality. Constructivism places a priority on teaching a process that takes into consideration individual learning needs. So school leaders who embrace this approach shift the focus within the school from knowledge as a product to knowing as a process. Instruction and curriculum design under the leadership encourages the sharing of big ideas and challenging other perspectives. So the classroom here is seen as a place where inquiry and co-construction dominate. And the constructivist leaders are those who expect teachers to engage in reflective practices and processes with the students and peers. So when we talk about constructivist leadership, is about immersing teachers in the culture of learning and enabling them to take risks. It's about dictating to teachers on how to deliver instructions. It's about educating teachers that we are all learners. Servant leadership, it's a participatory style of leadership that considers the needs of others rather than focus on self-interest. The philosophy behind servant leadership is that a great leader must first serve others, and that this simple fact is central to his or her greatness. So true leadership here emerges from those whose primary motivation is a desire to help others. School leaders who practice strategic leadership maintain high expectations. However, they also help teachers and students to develop the skills to improve their performance. So sharing the power in decision-making, servant leaders motivate and persuade the school community to fulfill their long-standing vision, and they can implement structural changes that keep an eye on the bigger picture. So research shows that in the long term, servant leadership creates a positive and productive school environment. When we talk about strategic leadership is based on long-range planning. Through analysis, evaluation, and monitoring, strategic leaders assess current school performance and take the necessary steps to improve future results. These leaders not only set the direction of the school by having an organizational vision, but they also create frameworks, they set up interventions, they allocate resources, and they maintain systems for reforms to take place. These leaders usually base their decisions on evidence and research because they draw on data, and this demonstrates school learning outcomes. Strategic leaders will respond with the most suitable approach. Innovation is at the heart of a strategic leader's mission. They are looking always for new ways to innovate the school environment. And strategic leaders invest in partnership also across the school community and use the power of collective thinking to build a values-based school where transparency, ethics, and accountability are the cornerstones of their leadership. Authenticity. Leaders today struggle with authenticity for several reasons. First, we make more frequent and more radical changes in the kinds of work we do. And as we strive to improve our game, a clear and firm sense of self is a compass that helps us navigate choices and progress towards our goal. But when we're looking to change our game, a rigid self-concept becomes an anchor that keeps us from sailing forth. Secondly, why authenticity is important? Because in global business, many of us work with people who don't share our cultural norms and who have different expectations for how we should behave. It seems that many times we need to choose between what is expected and therefore effective and what feels authentic. Another one is that identities are very complex. I mean, how we present ourselves has become an important aspect of leadership. Because we need to carefully create a persona in our work and organization, but this persona should be as much as authentic as possible. So when we talk about authenticity, is how to be true to yourself. With self, we have many selves, as said before, depending on the different roles that we play in life. And of course, this self evolves all the time. How to maintain a strict coherence between what we feel and what we say or do. That means that we will lose our credibility and our reliability as leader if we disclose everything we think and feel. And another thing part of authenticity is making values-based choices, because values are very important in order to shape future decisions. Since 2008, the number of articles that mention the word authenticity headlines are rising dramatically. It means that authentic leadership is a concept that is very popular nowadays. So what is authentic leadership? It's a pattern of leader behavior that draws upon, promotes both psychological capacities and a positive ethical climate. In order to foster greater self-awareness, internalize moral perspective, balanced processing of information, and relational transparency. We're going to see what is this term, relational transparency. How to foster positive self-development. So this definition combines many key aspects of authentic leadership that is identified by researchers. High self-awareness, self-esteem, self-acceptance, the consistency between our values, beliefs, and actions, and the use of high ethical standards to guide decision-making and behavior. What is the relation between authentic leadership and emotional intelligence I mentioned before? The facets of an authentic leadership overlap substantially with the conceptualizations of emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence has these components of self-awareness, social awareness, which includes empathy, self-management, about self-control, the transparency, and relationship management, which includes conflict management or influence, etc. So all these are related. So self-awareness, because as a leader, it's important that you have a strong sense of yourself, of your weaknesses, of your strengths, and your values, because you can't demonstrate authenticity as a leader if you don't know who you are or what are your ideas. So by displaying both your strengths and weaknesses to your team, you are able to demonstrate that you have nothing to hide or you don't play games. So in this way, you are better equipped to build trust among your team and also admit your own mistakes. And self-awareness is also critical for you to grow as leader and strengthen other components of authentic leadership. Use self-reflection to better understand your behavior and seek feedback always from the environment. Practice self-observation to stay aware of your feelings at all times. So self-awareness is vital for acting appropriately as a leader and feeling empathy for how the others perceive your feedback. Another component of authentic leadership is what we call relational transparency. Because in order to foster authenticity, it's important that you remain genuine. that you are straightforward and honest with our team. Let them know where they stand, and if they mess up, you can tell them. Transparency and honesty must be encouraged for the leadership level if we want our business to be successful. And of course, this starts from you, because if you are not transparent and honest, how can you expect that your employees will be honest and transparent? Third one is what we call balanced processing. Because what is this? The leader needs to make decision to stick, to stay true to his decision. But at the same time, we need to take into consideration the alternative viewpoints, as I said before, through feedback, for instance. So when we make important decisions, it's important for us to ask for alternative options and remain open to discussion. So when it's important, of course, to stick to your values, but at the same time, it's equally critical that you seek out opposing viewpoints, which can help you see the disadvantages or some flaws in your initial course of action before you implement the final plan of the action. So if you want to be an authentic leader, it's critical you create an environment in which employees feel both safe and encouraged to share their opinions. And this has to do with balanced processing. Internalized more perspective is what we call do the right thing, because an authentic leader needs to know when to put the needs of the organization ahead of himself and his team. A leader should be focused on doing the right thing for the long-term success of the business. And additionally, it's critical leaders have strong ethical values set before and integrity, exercise these characteristics even in the face of tempting shortcuts, and lead by example, as I said before. In this way, you're better equipped to set up the team for long-term success. Of course, authenticity in leadership is difficult to achieve, and the meaning of authenticity makes it actually difficult to prescribe in any way. And of course, this creates many dilemmas. And leadership ability defines a personal level of effectiveness. Before this, we're going to say that leadership is related to innovation, because innovation requires a certain type of person, those who are passionate explorers in pursuit of endless possibilities. The best leaders know that innovation must come from multiple sources, both internally and externally. They have to open their minds to innovation, and the innovation process begins by identifying how people want to lead and be led, the function they can best serve to add value, and the required tools to adapt to change in positive, meaningful ways. So here I say that leadership ability is a leader defines a person's level of effectiveness. The lower an individual's ability to lead, the lower the leader is in his potential. The true measure of leadership is influence. How do the leaders look like? Usually, when we talk about leaders, our mind goes to powerful, beautiful people, or attractive people, or impressive, or charismatic. So how can we measure the effectiveness of a leader? So how can you put two people side by side and tell which is the best leader? The true measure of leadership is influence. And when we talk about influence, this can happen through character, who they are, relationships, who they know, knowledge, what they know, intuition, what they feel, experience, where they have been, and what they have done. This is what I said before about leadership and innovation. Some things that leaders can do with their teams in order to foster an environment of innovation and initiative is, first of all, to trust yourself enough to trust others, because innovation requires breaking down the old rules of thought and creating new ones. and at the same time step back and think about your mistakes or your weaknesses. Collaborate and discover. You need to, the real collaboration is important. It's not about working closely together, but also find ways, new ways of thinking, create greater outcomes. Because you never know which idea will take shape into the new innovation that creates impact and influence in the marketplace, whether this could be a new project, process or product or packaging or piece of knowledge. Without strong communication, also, teams can find a rhythm. The manner in which you communicate sets the tone and leads us think in a variety of directions that leads to innovation. So a team should view themselves as innovation lab, constantly challenging each other to learn from each other's ideas and views, and plant the seeds for future innovations. Be a courageous change agent because in order to innovate, leaders must challenge its team member to think more critically and see through a lens of continuous improvement. Looking through this lens requires the mindset of a courageous enabler, one who takes charges and embraces the role of a change agent in support of constructive disruption and someone makes change things better, operate better and improves performance. So every leader must become a change agent. Of course, you need to find the perfect combination of people in a team. Also very important. Interesting to see about what happens about the 5 myths. The first myth is about the management myth. A widespread misunderstanding is that leading and managing are one and the same, is what I said in the beginning, that management is related to narrow-minded, short-term goals. And on the other hand, leadership is related to long-term and long-term goals and visions. Entrepreneur myth, people assume that all entrepreneurs are leaders, but this is not always the case because entrepreneurs are skilled at seeing opportunities and going after them. They see needs and understand how to meet them in a way that produces a profit, but not all of them are good with people. So it's not an entrepreneur, it's not always a leader. The knowledge myth, you know that Francis Bacon said knowledge is power. If you believe power to be the essence of leadership, then you might naturally assume that there are people who possess knowledge and intelligence, but they're not leaders. You can go to a university, for instance, and meet brilliant research scientists and philosophers, but these people don't have the abilities to become a leader. So neither IQ or education necessarily equates to leadership. And another misconception is that anyone who is out in the front of a crowd is a leader. Of course, it's not true to be a leader. A person has not only to be out in the front, but also have people intentionally coming behind him or following his lead and acting his vision. Being a trend center is not the same as being a leader. And position myth, another important great thing, a very great misunderstanding is that those who have big positions, organizations are leaders. This is not absolutely not true, because it's not the position that makes the leader, it's the leader that makes the position. How to lead up through vision. Leaders focus on vision set before overall aims. They can they help their team members as they try to interpret how to achieve the agreed objectives in a consistent way with organization values. How to develop the vision. You need to involve your team in developing the vision right from the start. As you move forward, you will need to restate and recreate this vision by communicating, for instance, with your team through open question and answer sessions, one-on-one reviews or team meetings. So soon each person will learn how to make a meaningful individual contribution towards team goals. People are motivated by a clear understanding of what they need to do to fulfill a vision, by when, how well, and why. So clear and thoughtful communication at every level is needed in order to develop this vision and translate it into medium-term strategies and day-to-day action. Work with our teams also is important. A key role as a leader is to inspire emotional attachment to an attractive vision and make success visible. Competencies, talk about a more realistic way to shape your aims as a leader is through competencies. This is the ability to apply or use a set of related knowledge and skills and abilities. These short describers set out the behaviors that we would like to see in ourselves as leaders. Yes, here you can see some important competencies. We'll talk about leadership competency, achieving results, building relationships, someone who is open to ideas, to develop solutions by networking, how to adapt to a wide range of situations, to behave in an ethical, professional way, to coach and communicate, continuous innovation, experiment with new approaches, manage expectations of customers, respond with empathy, lifetime learning, shares knowledge and information, learn, develop, and share knowledge, and solve problems and take decisions. The role of feedback, as I said before, a great leader is someone who always seeks out feedback. So the ability to both give and receive feedback is an essential leadership skill, because giving feedback encourages development, innovative thinking. And at the same time, you know how to receive feedback provides an opportunity to learn about yourself as a leader and the effect that your behavior has on others. Of course, when we talk about feedback, we need to be specific. Feedback needs to be specific. Your feedback session is a learning, as I said before, opportunity. Even if you're being critical, you have to explain a point of view and give you suggestions for improvement. On the other hand, unskilled negative feedback will leave the recipient feeling negative and demotivated with nothing to build on except the feelings of resentment. So feedback also should be very well planned. Open the dialogue, of course. Giving feedback, it's not about telling someone what you think. It's a two-way process that involves listening, asking questions, again, commitment to change, and clarifying understanding. Learn from feedback, and develop yourself. The best way to accelerate your own development, increase awareness of yourself, is by reflecting, listen to yourself, balance work and life. I know this is very difficult, how to promote a healthy work-life balance, and at the same time stay happy and make also your staff happy. How to maintain this balance and the sense of well-being is important characteristic of a leader. How to inspire and encourage, because your personal journey toward excellence will never end up, but this gives you the desire to learn, and your role is provide inspiration, and this starts with a clear vision for a better future and share and communicate this vision. Make a difference, praise new ideas, bring hope for the future, always run after change, keep positive, and remember that failures are part of the process. Take opportunities, prepare to lead by managing data, managing people, how to be realistic, how to focus on the now, keeping eye also on the future. Take up your leadership role, focusing on energy, managing your time. Time management is a great leadership skill, and prioritize your actions, your task, what is high energy or high low energy. Delegate successfully. Delegation is also a critical leadership skill, which has it's beneficial because it will help us liberate our schedule, and at the same time makes our team members feel valued and respected. So work on the relationship, the ability to understand different people is a key skill. And at the same time, thinking of relationship in terms of stories, this gives us some tools to analyze and control our interactions. So learning from your life story. The journey to authentic leadership begins with understanding the story of your life. Your life story provides the context for your experiences, and through it you can find inspiration to make an impact in the world. In other terms, it is your personal narrative that matters. Your life narrative is like a permanent recording playing in your head. So this is important. Learn from your story, knowing your authentic self. I said before, many leaders, especially those in early in their careers, are trying hard to establish themselves in the world, that they have little time for self-exploration. As the age, they may find something is missing in their lives, and they realize that they're holding back from being the person they want to be. So leaders are more human and willing to be vulnerable, even though their authentic selves. Practice your values and principles. The values that form the basis for authentic leadership are derived from your beliefs and convictions. Leadership principles are values translated into action, have a solid base of values, and testing them under fire enables us to develop the principles that we can use in leading. Build a support team. Leaders cannot succeed on their own. Even the most capable authentic leaders build support, build relationships with teams, and maintain these relationships. They take charge in familiar role. The first impressions form quickly and they matter. The first 90 days are critical in a new leadership role. How to sell your ideas and yourself are also a very important role, because leadership growth usually involves a shift from having good ideas to pitching them to diverse stakeholders. We know that inexperienced leaders often find the process of this very, very difficult. And you know that there are many candidates in organizations. They fail in the interviews because they don't know how to pitch, they don't know how to sell themselves and how to sell their ideas. That's why there are nowadays pitching and the art of public speaking has become a new course which is taught to students, because students, when they grow up, they need to know how to present themselves in order to get a job, for example, in order to be effective during an interview. How to process negative feedback. I said before about the feedback. Learn from diverse role models. Don't copy just one leadership style. You can try many diverse role models. So as you grow up, you can see that the leader is view authenticity as the ability to take elements that you can learn from other styles and behaviors, but at the end, you make your own style. So it's another thing to imitate someone, and another thing to create your own style, modify it and improve it. Work on getting better, setting goals for learning, help us experiment with our identities. Don't stick to your story, another important thing. Because most of us have personal narratives about defining moments that have taught us important lessons. And as I said before, we have these stories that usually influence us during the whole time, during our lifetime. But sometimes the stories can be outdated. So it's important to alter them dramatically, never throw them and start from scratch. So that means that you need to try out new stories about yourself and keep editing them. So revising your story is both an introspective and a social process. The narratives we choose should not only sum up our experience and aspirations, but also reflect the demands we face and resonate with the audience we're trying to win over. And Some examples training for leadership skills in coding. If you are involved in this field, it's important to identify leaders with extensive talents, to gather perspective from the client's colleagues or boss, to have develop an authentic leadership action plan, to evaluate and align the plan. Some of the activities in the leadership plans are self-awareness worksheet for adults that are usually applied in organizations, the EQ, emotional quotient point tool, how to distribute decision-making worksheet for adults, or writing your mission statement or empathy book. There are some techniques or activities that organizations use. For leadership and tools, where also can mention authentic leadership question or authentic leadership inventory. So thanks a lot for your attention. And for any question, I'm here to discuss.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your rich content presentation, which can impact our knowledge seeker surely. After your presentation, I hope our knowledge seeker can learn something new, which was our only intention. Learn and grow together, IGP knowledge seeker. Once again, thank you so much, dear ma'am, for your presentation. Now, ma'am, it's time for our question and answer section, which is the one more valuable part of our regular webinar. Honorable ma'am, please stay with us. After a short video, we will be back in our session part 2, which is the question and answer part. Dear IGP knowledge seeker, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you. After question answer, we have a webinar certification and online quiz competition. Dear IGP knowledge seeker, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you. After question answer, we have a webinar certification and online quiz competition. Welcome back, ma'am. Welcome back to our participant, dear IGP knowledge seeker. Ma'am, our first question is from Kuni. Hello, everyone. Hi, ma'am. What does it mean to lead from the inside out? Thank you.
Thank you very much for this question. It's actually in my heart because this has to do with self-awareness. It means that when you know yourself and you practice introspection and you know very well your strengths, your weaknesses, your goal, your mission, and you know how to collaborate with others, how to build strong relationships. When you know yourself, this means that you can lead others also. So first lead yourself through self-awareness, self-regulation, all these components of emotional intelligence that Daniel Goleman has taught us. Then you're able to be a leader. This is the meaning. And of course, this is related to decisiveness, to trustworthiness, integrity, honesty, transparency, I mentioned before, clear communication, and effective communication. But this has to do, I would say, inside how we handle ourselves first, and then follow the others. You can be transparent, as I said before, you say something, but you need to stick to your opinion. Say something and your actions should be consistent with your words. Because if you don't do this, you can't be reliable and you will lose the credibility. It's very important.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your questions. Ma'am, our next question is from Aaron. Good evening, everyone. Greetings from the Philippines. Hi, ma'am. Why is it important to know the leadership style of a leader? Thank you so much.
Because this has to do with the style of different personalities. I mean, if someone wants to be more democratic, will adopt a democratic style that I showed before when I talked about the leadership style that Daniel Goleman suggested. If you are more authoritative, then you say that you say to others to come with me, and we can set together the trend and be and move like this. It has to do. You have to adopt your own style, as I said before. Of course, you take an idea of what leadership style exists. Mention the pace setting, I mentioned the servant leadership also, which has a positive impact. But those also who have negative impact, those who say, do as I do. So there are those who dictate to others what to do. But you need to know what are the leadership style that suits best for you. And this has to do with your own personality, with your own vision, with your own mission. What is your goal? And how you will share this goal. Because your team, if you are, for instance, a leading organization, maybe your team doesn't align with your style, your leadership style. If your team doesn't align with your leadership style, then you have to change your leadership style and adjust it in order to collaborate with your team. So, as I said before in the end of my presentation, is that we don't stick to one narrative story, we don't stick to one vision, but we need to evolve it according to the needs, according to the context. We need to, every time, to build new stories and adopt a new leadership style. Don't copy and imitate others, but create our own leadership style. So you need to know what are the styles of leadership in order to create your style.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. Ma'am, our next question is from District. Ma'am, how to explain leadership skill of a person with mind improvement personality and with low self-esteem?
It's what I mentioned before about selling your ideas and pitching. I have many students who are brilliant students, but they're introvert personalities, and they They are very, calm during a lesson, for instance, or other students who are now searching for a job and they're not efficient enough during interviews. This has started to become popular nowadays. It's what we call pitching or the art of public speaking. It's important to encourage those people to express themselves, to give them tasks if we talk about students, to present a topic or to present themselves, and at the same time to help them write a list on their strengths and their weaknesses. Of course, focus more on the strengths, what they can do. You can persuade them that they can do miracles, encourage them, and through the art of pitching, said before, through the public speaking, you can do actually miracles, because I have seen from my own students that when we started to integrate this in the classroom, had amazing results. Those students who already from adolescence start pitching, and they know how to sell their ideas and how to sell themselves. Maybe you can be very, of medium abilities, but if you sell yourselves in excellent ways, other people believe that you are a super duper expert. So everything depends on how you sell yourselves. So encourage these people with introvert personalities through activities that could give them awareness of their strengths, and build on these strengths through continuous activities like this I mentioned, like the art of public speaking. In any case, these people need more open communication, more open dialogue. Effective and clear communication is the key in order to unlock these personalities, because the personalities need unlocking. And if we don't do it on time, these people won't be successful at work. Although they may have strong abilities, they won't be successful at work. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. Dear IGP knowledge seeker, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you. After question answer, we have a webinar certification and online quiz competition. Dear IGP knowledge seeker, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you. After question answer, we have a webinar certification and online quiz competition. Ma'am, I think there is no more questions from our participants. So once again, thank you so much, ma'am, for your time in IGP. We have learned a lot from you with new topic. It will add some value to our day-to-day activity along with our academic and professional growth. Honorable ma'am, hope to see you again with a new topic and a new date. Thank you, ma'am. Take care. Honorable ma'am, before we move to the next webinar certification process, if you want to leave this studio, you can. As you've been analytic, it's time for the webinar certification process, the most attractive and powerful part of our regular webinar. After a short video, we will start our webinar certification. After webinar certification, we have an online quiz competition and quiz certification. IGP Knowledge Seeker is time for the webinar certification process, the most attractive and powerful part of our regular webinar. After a short video, we will start our webinar certification. After webinar certification, we have an online quiz competition and quiz certification. we cannot provide a certificate code. We provide our certificate code in a short time. Thank you. Today, our some technical problem, we cannot provide our certificate code. We provide our certificate code in a short time. Thank you. Dear IGP knowledge seeker, it's time for the most engaging part of this webinar, which is an online quiz competition, which is our regular webinar activity. Now, time for the online quiz competition. To join the online quiz competition properly, please follow my instruction carefully. Now, time for the online quiz competition. To join the online quiz competition properly, please follow my instruction carefully. Go to www.slido.com and find today's quiz or scan this QR code for direct joining. Quiz code is Global IGP. After a short video, we will start our quiz session. Please join in Slido with the code, and the code is Global IGP. Join in Slido with the code, and the code is Global IGP. Please join in Slido with the code, and the code is Global IGP. Please join in Slido with the code, and the code is Global IGP. Please join in Slido with the code, and the code is Global IGP. With 34 people, we are going to start our quiz session right now. Our first question is, and discovering the secret of the universe. Option 1 true, option 2 false. Option 1 is the right answer, and 83% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Himalayan is holding the first position. Our second question is, why was Victor so dedicated to discovering the secret of life? Option 1, we wanted to be rich. Option 2, we wanted to be known for amazing achievements. Option 2 is the right answer, and 100% people are right here. In the leaderboard, QLA is holding the first position. Our third question is, industrial spirit inspiring directed toward discovering the secret of Rival Company. Option 1 true, option 2 false. Option 1 is the right answer and 77% people are right here in the leaderboard. Keely is holding the first position. Our fourth question is, which of these scientists devoted their life to discovering the secrets of black holes? Option 1, Robert Hooke. Option 2, Stephen Hawking. Option 2 is the right answer. 78% people are right here in the leaderboard. Keely is holding the first position. Our fifth question is, it refers to spying directed toward discovering the secret of a rival manufacturer or other industrial company. Option 1, sex discrimination. Option 2, industrial espionage. Option 2 is the right answer and 100% people are right here in the leaderboard. Hill is holding the first position. Our sixth question is, a spying that is directed toward discovering the secret of a rival manufacturer or other industrial company. Option 1, intellectual property. Option 2, industrial espionage. Option 2 is the right answer and 93% people are right here in the leaderboard. Keely is holding the first position. Our seventh question is, this person say that modern scientists are discovering the secret of nature and are powerful. Option 1, Waldman. Option 2, Crimpy. Option 1 is the right answer and 52% people are right here in the leaderboard. Keely is holding the first position. Our eighth question is, what is this? Spying directed towards discovering the secrets of a rival manufacturer or other industrial company. Option 2, hacking. Option 2, industrial espionage. Option 2 is the right answer. 93% people are right here in the leaderboard. Chile is only the first position. Our ninth question is, what is the TV show in about twins discovering the white secret of a town? Hence the picture. Option 1, Gamer Guide to Pretty Much Everything. Option 2, Gravity Falls. Option 2 is the right answer. 63% people are right here in the leaderboard. Chile is holding the first position. Our last and final question of the evening session is, unlocking the secret of Halloween mean discovering how it all began. Option 1, month ago. Option 2, thousands of years ago. Option 2 is the right answer. And congratulations to our online quiz competition winner, top 10. Congratulations again. Slide will take a few minutes for finalizing the result, and after that, we will issue our online quiz competence certificate on our official Facebook page and group in Institute of Global Professional. Congratulations to our online quiz competition winner, top 10. Congratulations again. Slide will take a few minutes for finalizing the result, and after that, we will issue our online quiz competence certificate on our official Facebook page and group in Institute of Global Professional. Congratulations to our online quiz competition in a top 10. Congratulations again. Slide will take a few minutes for finalizing the result, and after that, we will issue our online quiz competence certificate on our official Facebook page and group Institute of Global Professional. At the end of our session, we can say properly feed your skill, never stop learning, cause life, never stop teaching us. Be happy and stay safe. See you again and again. We want your participation in everything. If you want to live a happy life, try to a goal, not to people. Think. Albert Einstein. Before I say or hit the end like button, I again must to thank all IGP knowledge seeker for your active participation as always. See you again in the next session. Thank you.